Hey, everybody, Jim Cummings here. And if Tigger were here, he'd say, thanks, everybody, for bouncing on in here and enjoying the show. But before we go, I want you to do me a small favor. Hit like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. Now, speaking of enjoying the show, enjoy the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. I'm producer Chris, the legend himself, Jim Cummings. How are you doing today, sir?
Hello, one and all. All is well. Everything is great here in paradise. And how about that Kensington Tallman?
Yeah, that was a great episode last week.
That was a damn fine one. Did you guys enjoy that? Show of hands. Okay, good.
You know,
they all enjoyed it.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of came in with some preconceived notions, you know, like she's the youngest person that's ever been on the podcast, you know, and like she already has a phenomenal career, which is crazy.
I know. It's pretty cool.
And
what a doll.
She really blew me away with like how well-spoken she was. And she has her own podcast, you know, for mental health awareness for teenagers. I mean, that's a...
Yeah, tune in, please.
I haven't said, how do you have enough time in the day to do all this stuff?
Really hate people like her. No, just kidding. She's amazing.
So if you missed that one last week, it's really worth checking out. I'm not even gonna, you know,
please.
It really is. It was a fun discussion, and we wish her all the best. But coming up today,
great. Yes.
Another actor who started as a child.
Well, that is true.
Crazy that he said he's been in SAG for what, 40 years?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like 46 years old.
Yeah, and he's 35. So how about that? Yeah, and it's true. Who else? Who could we possibly be talking about? Peter Parker? No, Josh Keaton. How about that? Josh Keaton, Spider-Man himself. And if you're lucky, he'll do a little web sculpture for you. Who knows? But stay tuned and stay sticky and watch that one. You're going to love it. He's a hell of a guy. I've known him for a long time.
Yeah.
He and I, and I'll give you a little trivia question. What is the scariest, most ridiculous gig that I've ever had? And it was not a cartoon, but it did involve Josh Keaton.
Leave a comment. Leave a comment if you know the answer.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
Throwing you for a loop.
But yeah, you guys are going to enjoy this episode. Right before we start, we have a couple announcements to make, starting with bonus content.
Yes.
That's right. I'm going to jump ahead of you, Jim.
Jump.
And announce this bonus content that we have on Patreon. If you didn't know, there's early access to these episodes that you're watching right now. That's right. Patreon subscribers get these episodes a whole week early. So you're on the slow train on YouTube, but we appreciate you. And you can find that at patreon.com/jimcummingspodcast. There's also merchandise on Shopify at Jim Cummings Closet. You can get a whole bunch of cool Winnie the Pooh shirts, Darkwing Duck, classic characters, classic looks, and lots more content coming your way. We're really up and up the social media presence with a lot more content. So stay on the lookout for all that good stuff. And if you want to see Jim in person,
wait, there's more.
Where can they find you, Jim?
How about the world famous NostalgiaCon? Where else? Boise, Idaho. NostalgiaCon, very nostalgic. It's coming up on May 24th and 25th, so be there. If you're in the neighborhood or if you're not, be there. But wait, here's another NostalgiaCon. You got to love them. This one's in Anaheim, right down by Disneyville. And that is June 6th and 8th. NostalgiaCon Anaheim, June 6th, June 8th, through June 8th. And the anime verse, which is a damn fine verse. And it's in Kansas City, here I come, on June 28th and 29th. So please be there. Do whatever it takes. Just, in fact, go there now and wait, just to make sure. What do you think? Okay, thank you for your cooperation. I'm done talking.
With all that said, we hope you enjoyed today's episode with Josh Keaton. We will see you in the next one. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. I'm producer Chris, joined as always by the legendary Jim Cummings.
How's it going, folks?
And today we have another special guest for you, Josh Keaton. You know him from Spider-Man, you know him from Voltron, among many, many other things. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's great to see you as always, Jim.
Welcome, brethren.
Hey.
Respect.
Yes.
All right. Very cool, man. It's good to see you.
You too, always.
Good to see you back. Many moons ago, we had the same agent.
Yes, that's true.
You're right.
I remember seeing you in the
DPN
in the office from time to time. Yeah, shooting the shit.
And I have to tell you, one of the coolest things is I was getting ready. I'm pulling up, getting ready to go in, do some auditioning, do some contract signing, whatever. And up comes this Volkswagen. And it was a Spider-Mobile.
Oh, no, wait. This was a Mini.
Yeah?
The Mini Cooper.
Mini Cooper?
Yes.
A Mini
that's
Cooper.
Right.
Even better. And I walked and I said, "Who the hell?" And Josh gets out. "That's right. And then he shot a web up into a tree and swung into the building right over my head.
Right inside.
It was awesome. And I had to go up there. And I mean, you spent some money.
Oh, I mean, I had Thwip on my license plate. And yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it was
cool.
really cool.
What was the interior like?
The interior was pretty stock.
Webs?
I'm a car guy, so I like modifying cars. I'll never buy another Mini again because unfortunately, even though it was really fun to drive from a reliability standpoint, they're awful, horrible cars.
Yeah.
But it was a really fun car to drive, and it had a nice flat roof. So I got this cool vinyl wrap of the artwork from Spectacular Spider-Man on there, and it looked great. Like,
it looked amazing. I remember it to this day.
It was super cool.
That was
super cool. I had a great time.
Good
with that
for
car.
you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Don't have it anymore?
No, I mean it blew a head gasket at like 8,000 miles.
Oh man!
And it has no oil pressure gauge.
Oh, wow.
So and apparently these engines really drink oil. So even from the factory, so you don't really know that anything's wrong with your car until the light goes on and it's too late to do anything.
Until it's dead.
So they replaced the motor. And then at like 60,000 miles, it happened again. And by this time, I was religiously like putting oil in that thing.
Yeah, you knew.
And it still did it. So I was just like, I said, haul it out of here. I don't want this car anymore.
So you couldn't expose it to radiation to revive it?
No. I mean, if I could, I would have.
You know,
a little pep.
yeah. Could have clung to the road. Clung. Yeah.
Clung. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Clinged?
man.
Would it be clinged or clung?
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You may call in and let us know.
Clinged or clung.
That's right, because this is live. Yes. At the time we're doing it, it's live.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, but boy, what a legacy. I mean, to be involved in something like that, you know.
That I mean, to this day, yeah, like that's so much of my, like when I see people at conventions, so many of the people coming up to me are coming up to me for Spectacular Spider-Man. And,
absolutely.
And that was my favorite superhero since I could read. Like that was the first comic book I ever picked up. It's probably been the only one I've ever really consistently read.
Yeah.
Even into my adulthood.
Me too.
And it was a dream come true to get to play that part. And to get to play it on a show that, I mean, everybody that worked on that show was bringing their A game. Everybody loved Spider-Man.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it was evident. I mean, it was evident in the art style. It was evident in the writing and the quips. And it was evident in the fact, like, the thing that I loved about that show as a Spider-Man fan is the bigger a fan you were, the more there was for you in that show.
That's a good way to put it. You're right about that.
They would absolutely take iconic covers from the comics and work it into the show. So like you could freeze frame it at a certain point and be like, that's like 125, or that's like, you know, you'd know exactly where that came from. It was really cool. And Greg Weisman was also very proud of the fact that if anybody ever spoke on the show, if they had a line, they had to have appeared in the comics at some point, even if it was like a one-line janitor.
Oh, okay.
If they had a line, there was a comic tie back to them.
Yeah.
Now, I'm so interested in this because I've heard this talked about before, you know, even like the Marvel Cinematic Universe and everything.
Yeah.
Do they have a role where it's like you're the comic specialist? Because can they really expect everybody to read like 60 years of comics?
I mean,
you know, so you have to have somebody on set,
they kind of
right?
did, and I'm pretty sure they actually had somebody that did the research. But I mean, Greg would do a lot of it himself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
well, he was a true nerd.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In the best sense.
In the best sense.
Yeah, that always fascinates me with like all the little Easter eggs and everything. I'm like, there's no way a crew of like 10,000 people were all like, oh yeah, we know every single character of the comics. We all read them, you know, just all happened to be on this project.
I mean, maybe he was going to put in a janitor and then searched everything for when was there a janitor in Spider-Man or whatever. But
Yeah,
it's fascinating though.
I remember being pissed off sort of kind of at the last Spider-Man movie where the three who played the on-camera in the film Spider-Man, I was thinking that you should have been in there just as like a cameo.
I would have loved that. I mean, they brought me back in Across the Spider-Verse to be Spider-Man in that.
Yeah.
Spectacular. And
that's right.
Honestly, I think the fans are what brought me into that show or into that movie because that movie came out in June of last year. They didn't call me in to record until March.
Dang.
Like, I wasn't even a part of it. And I remember 2 weeks before they called me, they released this poster. And it was basically an upside down Miles in front of like a sea of spider people. And Spectacular Spider-Man was like down in the front, but like in off to the right.
Yeah.
And the internet went crazy.
Yeah.
The internet went crazy, and Spectacular Spider-Man was trending #1 on all the socials the entire day. It was trending higher than Spider-Verse. And that was what the thing was supposed to be promoting. And everybody was taking this as confirmation that I was going to be in it. And I was like, no, I mean, they haven't even called me. And they're like, oh, he's pulling an Andrew Garfield. He totally knows. And I'm like, no, I really have no idea what you're talking about. And they're like, you. And it wasn't until like 2 weeks later that they called my agent and offered me a role. And I really feel like they saw that social media response and were like, we got to put him in the movie.
We got to tap into that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So yeah, thank you, fans.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Spectacular alive.
Yeah. We keep saying that jokingly about this podcast. We'll have guests on, and then all of a sudden they're in like a new commercial or something.
I love it. Yeah.
What did you call it, Jim?
Yeah.
You had a name.
Not the
Toon'd increase.
The Toon'd increase. That's what it.
I love it.
Get it? It's a little play on words. Yes.
Yes. Fingers crossed for that Toon'd increase.
Yeah, that's right. You never know.
Man, that must be so cool though, like being such a fan of a character and then getting the opportunity. Like when that first came up, like what was your feeling?
Absolutely. Well, by the time Spectacular Spider-Man came out, I was ready. Because I had already kind of played Spider-Man in a couple of video games. Well, actually, a video game. It was the 2002 tie-in for the first Spider-Man.
Oh, okay,
the Tobey Maguire one.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah, the PlayStation 2 one. And I originally played Spider-Man in that. But then after I had finished recording everything, they ended up getting Tobey to be able to do it. So I guess they didn't want to waste all the audio they had done with me. So they had me come in and record a couple of extra little parts so that they could make a hidden mode of play where if you beat the game, then you get to play through the game again as like Harry in the Goblin suit. But it was really Spider-Man. It was like all the stuff I had done for Spider-Man. Like I said, they had me come in and record a couple of extra little things, so it's this is Harry, but it was Spider-Man, and I wasn't like super crestfallen that they had like replaced me because I'm like it was a Tobey movie
and video games,
a Tobey game.
Yeah,
can't fight that one.
You can't be mad
video
at
games
that.
weren't then what they are now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, whatever. I was thankful that they actually kept me in the game somehow. So thanks, Beanox. That was solid move. But then when it came time to do the Spider-Man 2 game, they just brought me in as Harry. Like by that point, I was the de facto Harry. So then there was like a game called Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, that's
Friend or
quite
Foe.
a transition.
Yeah, no, there was a game called Spider-Man Friend or Foe, and I was Harry in that. And James Arnold Taylor was Spider-Man in that one, who was Harry in our show. So we ended up like doing a little flip-flop.
Yeah.
But by the time the audition came around for Spectacular Spider-Man, I was like, I'm ready for this. Like I'm gonna do this now. Like this is. I went in there just guns blazing, and
that's good.
It turned out well.
Yeah, it did.
And how many years did that last?
We got cut short because that was right around the time that Disney was going to buy Marvel. So we did a season. It was like critically acclaimed. It got it was getting great ratings, and then we were doing season 2, and while we were recording season 2 was when Disney bought Marvel. And they basically never canceled us and never picked us up. They just never said anything. But they told us, you're going to be headlining our new network, Disney XD. But then when they put us on Disney XD, they showed the episodes out of order. They kept changing the times that it was going to air. They never really did any promotion.
Yeah, that was
for
a
it.
chunky period then and there when that launch was happening.
Yeah,
there were things that were. They were kind of truncating shows like, oh, here's 3 of them. What are we going to do?
Yeah,
I remember that.
It made it. They made it hard to get an audience, and also we went from being on network TV, Kids WB, to a show that to a network that really at the time was only on like Dish Network.
Yeah.
If you didn't have Dish Network, you didn't have Disney.
It was really obscure.
So very obscure.
Yeah.
And so the way it all worked out, because people are always asking me, could it ever come back? And the thing is that Disney now owns the rights to the character of Spider-Man for TV.
Right.
But Sony still owns the rights to the show, The Spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
So if Disney wanted to continue making it, they would have to basically pay Sony to license the show.
Yeah.
So they could keep making it.
Yeah, they're crazy
Why
about
would they do that?
They can't wait to spend money.
Yeah, they're like, we can just make our own show. So
that's right.
That's got to be, they never released it on Disney Plus either, right? Or did they?
They briefly did.
Briefly?
They did right when right when Across the Spider-Verse was going to come out.
Makes sense.
They had it on there. Well,
Yeah.
and I think that the reason they even put it on there is that Netflix put it on there. Sony put it on Netflix. And this show that had been absent from media for all these years was like trending #1 on Netflix.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like it did amazing on Netflix.
That's
it brought a whole
amazing.
new generation of kids into the Spectacular Spider-Man. And then when that happened, Disney XD put it on Disney XD. Still had the season finale and another thing out of order. They still never fixed it. And so they had it on there out of order. And then once the movie was out of theaters, it disappeared again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
yeah, it's been Parker Luck one time,
Yes.
one thing after the other. But
You know, I remember, because of my age group, I can remember all of the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, Captain America, Spider-Man. I had the first Spider-Man comic book wasn't a Spider-Man comic book.
Right.
It was Amazing Tales.
Amazing Fantasy.
Amazing Fantasy.
15, yeah.
And I can remember, I can see it right now. He's swinging across the cover, classic Spidey pose.
Yeah.
And it gives me goosebumps. And I always, every time I tell the story, it just kind of ruins my day. But I remember I was probably in my 30s and I went back home. I was born in Youngstown, Ohio. And I went up into the attic and I go, "Hey, Mom, I had that first Fantastic Four, first Spider-Man, first Avenger, Captain America. And I just went down the line. Iron Man, back when he looked like a tin can, and I can't find him anywhere." And she goes, "Oh, don't worry, hon. I gave it away. I took him down to the church, and I think they gave him away. They gave him to kids in the orphanage." Or something, and I'm thinking, well, good. Well, those kids in the orphanage are going to go buy their mothers a house because of what you gave away. And
I knew it was coming, and it still hurt.
Yeah, yeah. And she goes, "Oh, don't worry, don't worry." And I go, "Why would I worry? You threw away a fortune."
Oh man!
I mean, I bought
had an Amazing Fantasy 15.
Yeah, I had, and they were pristine. Oh. I didn't abuse them, like somebody would roll them up and stick them in their back pocket, or whatever.
Oh
No,
my God!
I kept it. They were pristine. They were in ace condition. Oh, I need a moment now.
I think I need a moment.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, but it's it's an actually slightly painful memory.
Slightly. Oh my God!
Yeah,
I don't think I'd ever recover from something like that.
Yeah, and the fans are watching. They're going, "Oh man, that's bad. That's really bad."
Yeah,
Anyway.
I think anybody watching, when you started this story about, hey, just going back home, as soon as you said going back home, I'm like, she threw him away.
Went
She
up
threw
to
him away.
the
She got
attic,
rid of him.
looking for the box.
Oh,
the one that wasn't there.
Yeah,
that one. That's
that
what
one.
I was looking for. That one.
That one. Oh,
It's painful. Moment of silence.
brutal. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
F in the chat.
Well, I wanted to. You stream, right? You stream?
Yeah, you know what? I haven't for like a year.
Okay.
And I need to get back into it. And I've
Dude,
been mainly
you were just
streaming.
in Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, and that's the
Why
thing.
don't you play?
I want to play. I'm bad right now because I just started.
Yeah.
But I want to play Iron Man, and I want to troll people in chat because like he's got
You
this
have
move, the
to.
maximum pulse, where like apparently it gives people PTSD hearing it because if you hear it and they get off that move, the whole team is dead.
Oh, yeah.
And he just goes maximum pulse, and so I just want to go into chat and just start randomly like saying maximum. And like making people freak out thinking it's going to happen. Because apparently
I've
it's like
watched that.
easy to counter now. Like there's several classes that can counter his ultimate move.
But still,
But
if
if I
they're
yell that
sneaky-
out in chat, they might blow their counter and then I can actually land a pulse.
Yes. I thought you did a great job with that voice as Iron
Thank
Man
you.
in the game.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great game. We had
That's so
Colleen
cool.
O'Shaughnessy and
Yeah.
had a bunch of voice actors from that show, but I mean from that game. But since it's we got to have them back on to talk about it.
They got a packed cast.
Yeah,
They really do.
They really do. They went all out. And
Yeah.
Yuri was playing Spider-Man in that one.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, you're Spider-Man in that.
Yeah. Yeah. He gets a lot of stabs at him, doesn't he?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I think everybody's having a go at Spidey, man.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
And you were pretty active in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I've
you're-
been thankful to have been.
You're all over.
Yeah, I've been Steve Rogers in What If,
Yeah.
and that one was scary because
Captain
that
America,
one
by
was
the
actually
way.
a Chris Evans voice match, and it was supposed to be like MCU canon.
Oh, I see.
So that one was probably the scariest one I've had to do.
Interesting.
Because like he was one of only 3 people from the MCU that didn't come back to reprise their roles in the animated show. So I was like, what are they going to think about like it not being Chris?
Yeah, and I'm thinking I'm trying to listen for it in my head, and it's not. And he's one of those voices that I hate having to try to voice match because there's nothing you can really hang your hat on.
Right.
It's not like he sounds like Jack Nicholson.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, he sounds like some guy.
Yeah.
And you're going, okay, well, that's good.
Those are the hardest ones to match.
They're the hardest ones.
They're the hardest ones to match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get asked to voice match a lot?
For certain people, so yeah. Back in the day, I used to voice match Jay Baruchel for Hiccup. Train Your Dragon. I used to do that one.
Oh yeah.
And,
so that's how you pronounce it. I'm glad to hear that.
Baruchel. I think. I hope.
Yes, and he's kind of something.
Oh yeah. He kind of.
It's in it like he chooses words or something. Yeah.
And it's very up in the back of the nasal area. It's funny, like a lot of stuff's in there. I mean, even the Steve Rogers stuff. I mean, with him, you kind of got to lower his voice a little bit, but then he's still kind of putting it out through that mask. And he does a little bit of like a Brooklyn thing, especially where in the part that I was doing, which was before he gets the serum.
Okay, I was going to say that's
Steve.
back when he was from the Bronx or somewhere, right? Brooklyn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it was a B word.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, Marvel Comics is it for me.
Yeah.
But for you have the distinction of going from the Marvel universe to the DC universe and back again and back.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're like all
Green
over
Lantern.
You're very, Oh, why? It's funny you mentioned Green Lantern. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
In
brightest. Are we doing this?
Yeah.
In brightest day. In blackest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light. Yes, we did it.
Whoa, baby!
Amazing.
Okay,
amazing.
Good night, everybody. That made my day.
That was another show that got cut short way too early, and that one was because of the movie. The movie did so poorly that they never even made a toy line for our show because they couldn't get the movie toys to even move in the stores. So when the toy companies pitched the toy line, the stores were like, "We have enough Green Lantern toys," and they're like, "No, this is for the show, not the movie." They're like, "No, we're good on Green Lantern toys." So they never even made a toy line. So without that, we were kind of sunk.
That was the Ryan Reynolds one.
That was a Ryan Reynolds one. Yeah. But our show had nothing to do with that. Like it was a Bruce Timm show, and it really, look, in fairness, like I feel like the movie really had a lot on its plate in terms of what it had to do. The movie had to basically, let's preface this by saying that Green Lantern for most of its time has been something that like comic book fans will really know a lot about.
Yes, that's
but like
right.
Normies,
that's true. Yeah, it's
aren't
not
really
like
familiar
Superman
with
or
it.
Batman.
It's not at all. It's not like Spider-Man. It's not like that.
Right.
So they had to basically introduce people to the entire world, make them care about these characters, and then give the conflict. And they just try to do too much in that movie. I mean, they had Hector Hammond and Parallax, and Parallax is like Endgame. That's like way
down the line.
Yeah, like and as the first thing, and he's beaten super quick. It's just like you don't really get a chance to really get the stakes.
Yeah.
And they didn't really do enough to introduce people into the fact, oh, these are like space cops, and this is like that type of stuff. So there was so much more that they had to do, but how do you do that in like 2 hours? Whereas our show, we had 26 episodes to do it,
right.
so we had a lot more of a time to roll this out and explore all the different spectrum colors.
I was wondering, did they get into the Green Lantern universe of the core?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
They went to Oa.
Yeah,
you met a lot lot of other Lanterns.
Right.
You met Guy Gardner, who was expertly portrayed by Diedrich Bader.
Yeah.
Kilowog was Kevin Michael Richardson.
Oh, okay.
But you also saw the Red Lanterns. You saw the Orange Lanterns, Larfleeze, and then you saw the Star Sapphires.
No Yellow Lanterns though.
I can't remember.
Because Yellow is his nemesis.
I want to say they did have an episode about a yellow ring.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've like gotten into the
Yes,
show.
right.
I think the only one we never We had Blue Lanterns. I think the only one that we ever didn't see there was a Yellow Lantern episode. The only one that we never saw was Black, and that one was touched upon in the very last episode. You see him kind of like looking at these books, and you see the Book of Black right there. Oh. So it was kind of like previewed that was going to be in there. Had gone on more seasons.
Yeah, and they couldn't really do a Book of White because that would just be a flashlight.
Sure, right.
So it's not the same.
Right.
It's just not the same. Oh man, that's good stuff. Well, you're good at playing superheroes.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, there's no doubt about that. But the Human Torch too, really?
That was a long time ago. That was like back in Ultimate Alliance.
Wow.
I want to say.
Yeah.
That was like when video games were just starting to have voice acting, and that went beyond like just grunts and stuff, where they were actually having like the cut
Beyond
scenes.
Grunts.
Yeah,
that's the name of your autobiography, right? Yeah. Beyond Grunts.
Beyond Grunts. Yeah, that's actually.
That's not bad.
I might steal that.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Josh Keaton, Beyond Grunts.
Beyond Grunts.
But Josh you guys share another commonality. You were both in bands back in the day.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Both in what did you play? Or were you a singer?
I was in a boy band, so
you were a singer.
I played myself.
Yeah.
I played my own instrument.
So you did dancing and everything?
Did dancing and everything.
Nice.
And I wasn't like a dancer growing up. I was always real self-conscious. And the thing about boy bands is that it's less about how good of a singer you are most of the time and more about like just the performance.
The sex appeal.
Yeah.
So if you're like a great dancer and like a mediocre singer, you're going to have a better chance over somebody who can't dance for shit and is a great singer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually auditioned for this group twice. The first time I didn't get in because like I wasn't that great of a singer and I couldn't dance to save my life.
Uh-oh.
So after that, I ended up being in a gospel group for like 3 or 4 years.
Well, you didn't have
That's
to
a
dance.
switch.
But I was like I was like one of the only like Caucasian kids in here. And I mean, I'm Latino, but I read Caucasian. But yeah, like I basically learned how to sing in that group. And that's where I really learned my love for like R&B music and soul music. And that's
great.
And that's what I ended up like gravitating towards. That's still what I love to this day. But I remember after that group kind of fell apart, I ended up auditioning for this group again, and one of the lead singers, I guess, had left, and I got in, and I ended up becoming one of the lead singers, much to the chagrin of the now sole lead singer, who now had to give up half his parts to me. He never really liked me.
And the name of that?
It was called No Authority.
And
I always hated the name because I know like it was thought up by one of the guys on the group, and he was super. He had this aura of being like, really rebellious, and he thought it was like
he was the bad
nobody
boy.
has authority over us and all that. I'm like, this really just sounds like we have no power. It sounds like we have no authority.
Either that or a guy named Noah who's from Italy. Noah Authority. Hey, he's from
No Authority.
How's it going, Noah? Hey.
Oh man, yeah. So I always hated the name, but I had a great time in that group, I will say.
Yeah.
Butted heads with the other lead singer a lot, but I mean we were teenagers. And we were all trying to figure out who we were and establish ourselves. And
but it was a terrible way to meet girls.
Right.
Yeah. It was just fine.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, we're worried about you.
But it was great. I got to see the world.
Yeah.
Got to make some great music. We worked with this producer named Rodney Jerkins, who ended up going on to produce pretty much all of Destiny's Child's hits, Brandy, Monica, all of their hits, produced stuff for Michael Jackson. He's still making music. I mean, and he was 19 when he produced our album. So, I mean, and our record, like I've gone back and listened to it. And it's still a great record.
Yeah.
Like,
is there anywhere online we can find it?
Yeah, actually. And there's actually two, because I left the group after the first album because the manager was a crook and
that'll
really,
do it.
yeah, like I just couldn't work for him anymore.
I've never heard of that in the record industry, though. Are you sure?
It sucked, man. And the thing that really sucked is that like he basically kind of like smeared me to the rest of the bandmates when I left because my problems were with him. And he went and told them that I was like high on my own farts and that thought I was better than all of them and that I was going to go solo. And like he basically turned like the one that was the other lead singer, we always didn't mesh well. It was very easy to kind of turn him against me. But there was another one in the group that was like my buddy in the group. And he ended up doing a complete 180 because he bought the Kool-Aid or drank the Kool-Aid that my manager was selling, and ended up like talking all kinds of shit about me to fans and like all this stuff. And that one kind of hurt because I was like, you were like my boy in the group.
Yeah.
And then I'm still friends with another one in the group,
Nice.
my buddy Danny. So and the funny thing is that the guy that replaced me in the group, I like the guy. We're friends.
Oh, well, that's cool.
He's a cool dude. Yeah. So
well, it's funny. The guy you didn't get along with is a hell of a valet here at the place. So it's not.
I can't even. That's
it's
so
not
far
like
behind
he's.
me. Like, I can't even go there.
But he can park the hell out of a car. I'll tell you that. So that's what you get when you mess with Josh. You got that, folks.
Man. But yeah, I mean, it was still a lot of fun. So yeah, you were asking if you could find it online. There's 2 albums. The one that I'm in has like a red cover. It's called Keep On, and and you'll see me like pouting. Because apparently I got the reputation as the bad boy in the group, even though I was the furthest thing from a bad boy. Because I was a freaking Boy Scout, like literally. And but I was always real self-conscious about my smile as a teenager, and I never wanted to smile in pictures. So because of that, I was always like serious in pictures. And because
you were
of that,
the brooding.
You're the brooding bad boy.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
Oh, that's all
That's
it
the most
took.
innocent bad boy ever.
Yeah. So you always wanted to be in show business or entertainment?
You know what's funny? No. Like, because I grew up, I have 3 sisters. My older sister was the one that was like first put into it. My parents got me into it, and it was just kind of, by the time she was into it, they had spent so much time with her.
How old were you?
I mean, I was probably 4.
Yeah,
she
so
was
really
like
young.
maybe even younger. Yeah. So, but it was just kind of like that's what we did because she had dance classes, she had singing classes. At that time, I wanted to do other things. Like we would every time we would drive to her dance classes, we had to drive over this hill, and there was like a big, beautiful baseball diamond off like the mountain road that we had to go on. It was like Field of Dreams.
Oh, wow.
And we'd pass by it every time. And I'm like, I want to play baseball. But there was no time for that because we had dance classes and all that. So it's like if I wanted to do anything, I kind of had to do this.
It's like the opposite of step up.
Right. And so this was like, this is what was expected of me. You know, you're going to do this. And so at the time, like, I didn't really want to do it. But over the time, like, I grew to love it. And then there came a point in my life where I was like, I can't really imagine myself doing anything else. And by that time, I had grown to really, really love it. And there's still other things that I enjoy. Like I loved space. I wanted to be an astronaut. Like I wanted to do all kinds of other stuff. I'd still love to go to space.
Oh God, me too.
They're selling flights these days.
Not that's in space. That's a ride. That's like going.
I got shredded on Reddit because I was like, why are people hating on Katy Perry so much? Like she got to go to outer space, and I get all these comments.
It's not outer
she didn't
space.
go to outer
She
space.
barely left the atmosphere.
Yeah, they're dropping terminology. I'm like, dude, all I know is space from freaking sci-fi. I don't know, man.
That's a rich person roller coaster.
I don't know the classifications of space. Get the hell out of here.
I wouldn't have wanted to fall from there. I mean,
right? I said that's like 3 times higher than a commercial flight. Like, come on.
But the thing that annoys me is that they're like calling themselves astronauts, and I'm like, dude, you are so spitting in the face of every actual astronaut that is actually.
Do you think actual astronauts even care though? They're like
probably not, but I mean, I'll care for them. I'll care for them because that's a lot of schooling.
If I can afford that ticket, I'm going to whatever inner space or whatever that's called.
Put astronomy in the same category as astrophysics. Like I cringed so hard, I almost disappeared into my own ass.
That's a hell of a cringe.
It was crazy, man. Like I was like, come on, dude. This is. And I think that so many people were like united in that sentiment where they really didn't see the backlash coming.
The internet hates it.
Yeah. Like and when they started calling themselves astronauts and
but when Gail King was
like, well, have you ever been to space? I was like, get out of here. Go back to not space.
Go back to Shatnerville because he was up there, wasn't he? Didn't he? Went up on
Shatner? Yeah, he was on the first one. I think the
inaugural.
Yeah, he was on the first one with Bezos.
The first voyage,
and he's out there. This is off topic, but whatever. We're on this topic.
Yeah. We're talking.
He's out there, and they just land back, and they're all in their suits, and he's trying to give this profound statement about what space was like, and then Bezos comes in with a bottle of champagne, spraying it with all these hoochies around.
What a clown!
Oh, what a moment! So profound.
Amazing.
It could be risky.
Hey, man, though, the average person is going to be terrified to go up that high in an aircraft. I'll tell you that. I've seen people praying in minor turbulence.
I'd love to do
on a flight.
Oh, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Me too.
I wouldn't parachute back.
No.
That might be a little.
I'm wondering
iffy.
though, like they didn't even really go high enough to really escape.
Were they were like weightless though,
Yeah,
weren't
but they didn't really. I mean, you could do that with a flight.
True,
They have that,
true.
like, KC was
Yeah.
KC one.
Yeah, how they film
Yeah,
those
the vomit
scenes.
comet.
Right.
Yeah.
They fly in the
That'd
parabola.
be fun to do.
The
Yeah, you can-
parabolic arc, right?
Yeah,
That's
you can
whatever
get
that
weightless
is.
still in the atmosphere. But I mean, that capsule didn't even look like it had any kind of burn marks from re-entry. So
That's
don't
what
even
I
think-
was curious
I don't
about.
even
Like,
think
did
they
it go
actually
through
left
the atmosphere?
I don't think because that capsule looked like it never went anywhere.
How come you didn't catch fire?
That's.
Aren't you supposed to catch fire?
I mean, even the SpaceX capsules,
Kinda.
you see those? Those are all charred
Yeah,
up.
they're all
you know?
charred. Yeah, that's right.
It is a
We've
crazy time
solved
we're
that
living in.
mystery.
Yeah.
Crazy time we're living in where people are just going to and from outer space. Elon Musk pretty much has an intergalactic trucking company, like just sending these rockets
Pretty
up and
much,
down.
yeah.
It's pretty wild. Pretty wild.
I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
All right, back onto the topic of you.
Oh, thank you.
Meanwhile, back
Yes,
at the
me,
ranch.
more me.
That's right.
So you were raised English isn't your first language.
No, actually, my mother's Peruvian. She's from Lima. And so my dad sometimes would work, he would work 2, sometimes 3 jobs. My mom also worked. So a lot of times we were with our grandparents, our abuelitos. And so, so Spanish was pretty much the first thing I spoke with them.
Interesting.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then I'm guessing just being, around like your classmates and teachers and everything, there's no accent because that's how you spoke normally, just in person, I'm guessing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not normally, but like you spoke English around.
Yeah, well, because I mean, I always grew up with both. My dad's an English teacher.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, like their pronunciation was drilled into my head from a very, very young age. Like
Yeah.
even speaking English, like the first. Actually, it's not the first job I ever got, but like I remember the Back to the Future animated series. I was probably like 9 when I got that. And the reason that I got that was because as a 9-year-old, I was able to just rattle off, and I remember this to this day, was I'm computing the logarithmic equivalence of the atomic weights of certain isotopes found in the lanthanide series of rare earth elements.
I bet you were fun at
Wow.
parties.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
just
yeah.
gonna. I was just gonna say that.
And I actually knew what that meant because I was a big periodic table person when I was 9. I
Wow.
was like, I loved it. I was like, this is so cool. This is everything that makes everything.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I was a huge nerd.
Oh,
I'm
man.
actually a tiny nerd.
But it's funny how it's like nerdy when you're a kid, but then it's cool when you're an adult. It's
Yeah.
funny how that stuff works. right?
Absolutely.
Like playing in a band,
Yeah.
playing in a band. It's
Yeah.
I saw it at least when I was young. I was like, I don't want to play an instrument, and then it's like, I wish I played an
practice isn't
instrument.
cool.
Yeah.
Practice isn't cool. That's
yeah.
why.
As long as
Yeah.
it's not a tuba, You know,
Yeah.
Hey, I bet there's somebody on social media making a living doing some tuba thing every day.
I don't know, man.
I know there is.
I actually went to the Rose Parade for the first time this year, and like
No
I usually,
way, that's
I usually
astonishing.
hate parades, but my
Yeah, but not
my
if you're in 'em.
sister. Well, no, I wasn't in it. I just went to see it. But my sister lives literally like maybe 600 feet from the parade route.
Oh, geez.
So like, if you have to go to the bathroom, you just go to her house. Like,
Oh, that works.
Yeah.
when you got to park, you park right in her garage. So it's great. Like all the things that I hate about like huge crowd stuff, like no
There's an
bathroom, no
escape.
parking,
Yeah,
all that.
yeah,
Like
you
it was
had an
all
escape hatch.
mitigated. So there was this high school band from Japan, and I want to say it was an all girls school.
Oh, wow.
They were incredible, and they made playing a tuba while marching look awesome. Because they were like dancing with the tuba.
Oh,
And
yeah.
And we were like towards the end of the route, and I'm like, they've been doing this for miles, and they still had the same kind of energy. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know how they did this. They were incredible.
Yeah.
Well, they're a
playing
lot
the tuba
lighter
cool.
nowadays, too.
They would have had to be.
Yeah.
They would have had to be because
I
I've picked up
remember.
a tuba. I mean,
Yeah.
I've played saxophone, and
Yeah.
a tuba's easily twice that size.
Ooh.
And yeah, I
At
can't even
least,
imagine
yeah.
marching with that.
Yeah. I remember.
And it wasn't even the
I was-
wraparound, the sousaphone kind. It was like a legit tuba.
Yes. Yeah. You were weightlifting.
Yeah, where you're holding that the whole time.
It was wrapped around you. You were not, it was holding you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember
It's
those.
giving you a hug.
Yeah.
I bet that makes it harder to play. You got to control your breath way more. And
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
never even thought about that.
You're marching, you're dancing, you're doing it in line.
Right.
Or you're doing it in sync with everybody else.
yeah.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah. I that gave me a whole new respect for marching bands. Because I mean, I've seen marching bands, but like I was like right in front of them.
Yeah.
It's one thing to see it on TV, and
For
it's one thing
sure.
to like actually hear the sound of the band right there, like feet from it.
With
It's-
a lot of things in life,
Yeah.
with a lot of things, it's a lot different to experience something and see
Sports.
like firsthand.
I can't watch sports on TV.
Yeah.
I can't get into it. And I think one of the main reasons is like, I would love it if in order to play for a team, you had to be from that city.
That'd be cool.
Because then you would actually see like city versus city.
Yeah.
That would be super cool.
It would just be
now,
like
it's just
LA, New York, and Miami.
Right now it's just mercenaries for rich people. Yeah. It's like, okay, this is this rich guy's team. This is this rich guy's team.
Well, the Brooklyn Dodgers, that's what they were from Brooklyn.
Yeah, they were.
Bunch of guys from Brooklyn.
I feel like the stakes are higher when it's like this hood versus this hood.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I think that would be really cool. But that being said, when you actually go to see a game, it's a lot of fun. Like they had this father-son event for both of my kids go to the same school, but for they had a father-son event, and it was at Angel Stadium. And so I took my son to see a baseball game, and neither of us really watch sports or into sports, but it was fun.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Especially baseball, I think.
Yeah, we got burgers and we sat and we watched, and he didn't. This is his first time with anything with baseball, so I was explaining the game to him and saying, okay, this is what happens when they get 3 outs, and this is what makes an out, and this is when they're pitching, and then there's this one. There's this one part where like the ball actually like the pitcher actually hit the batter.
Foul ball. Oh,
he actually hit the batter, and then the batter actually returned one of the hits and hit the pitcher, almost in the same place.
Oh wow,
it was crazy. It was crazy.
That's good.
Yeah, no, it was like instant karma right there.
Yeah,
I was like, well, this is why you come
Take
see
that.
a game. Yeah,
yeah, that's funny.
That's kind of fun stuff. So
that is good.
Do you guys remember the first time you worked on a project together? You guys have worked on quite a few projects, or at least been in the same.
I think the thing that we worked on the most together was Splatterhouse.
Oh yeah,
because we were both the leads in that game. He was the mask, and I was the vessel for the mask.
That's
that was
right.
the guy that puts on the mask.
Yeah,
and so we would talk together.
I've
a lot.
signed a ton of those at conventions and cons.
People that's still like a cult favorite game.
Unbelievable.
But we've worked on stuff before that.
Yeah. Well, I've kind of guested on your shows. I've been the Hammerhead or a couple of Spidey villains over the year. I think I've got some written down here somewhere. But I know we did.
Crusher Hogan.
Yeah, Crusher Hogan.
Oh yeah, you were the. That's exactly right. In my favorite episode of Spectacular Spider-Man,
and mine too.
The black and white one.
I was in it.
It was that too.
That's what did it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crusher Hogan. All those sort of like B villains of the Marvel Universe.
Marvel Superhero Squad, the Infinity Gauntlet. You were Spider-Man, and Jim was Thanos. Super.
Yes.
I feel like that's supposed to say Super Skull.
Skrull.
Super
Skrull.
Skrull.
It is
Super
Skrull.
Skrull.
Excuse me.
The Skrulls. Yeah.
The Skrulls.
Leave me alone in the comments.
You're getting cooked. They're cooking you already, man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So did you guys record these together in the booth, or it was kind of like a one at a time deal?
On Splatterhouse, not every time, but there were a couple of sessions where we were together in the booth.
Yeah.
And then there were some times where we weren't together, but Jim had already recorded, and so they would play me his lead in, and I would get to actually react off of his lead.
That helps.
Hey, you must have been pretty young. You look like a young guy to me. How old are you?
No, I'm 46.
Okay, he's pretty young.
Well, that's still pretty
For
young.
as
From over
long
here.
of a career that you've had.
Well, I mean, I've been acting. I've been in the union since I was 4.
Yeah.
So I've been.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been in the union for more than 40 years.
Yeah.
It feels weird to say that, man. It's bizarre.
Especially in your 40s.
I've been in this for over 40 years. And
Yeah, you know what? We've been in the union the same time, but I'm like 40 years older than you.
It's crazy.
So this is knucking futz.
It's been crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is like, I remember always when we were still at DPN.
At DPN, yeah.
There was like I would look to guys like you as like the living legends, as like you guys were like the old guard.
Oh, there you go.
And so I remember going in to read at the office with you guys and hearing you guys tell stories and stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
and I was like the young guy.
Sure.
I was like the young guy. And it's just funny just running into all my old guard friends who I've still stayed friends with, like you and Dan Gilvizan and all that. And they still looked at me like the young guy when I'm probably the age that you guys were when I met you guys.
Probably, yeah.
And it's just...
Yeah, that's about right.
But I don't feel like that time has passed. I don't feel like I'm that much older.
Yeah.
But I am. No. It's just weird.
I know what you mean. Pop stars always do that to me. It's like when you see this new pop star and it's like, oh, they're like 21 years old. Like you know that meme of the Saving Private Ryan just getting older in real time. Like,
yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. There's this weird Peter
beats
Pan
dying,
syndrome
though.
where you feel like you're never going to grow old, and then like you are, and it's just crazy.
Well, that's how it went for me. I went, like, being in the business. I was very, very fortunate. Blessed that I got my first job, and then I never ever did. It never lagged.
Yeah.
So I went from working full time in the video store to working full time in this thing. So I didn't have a transition period, and I remember thinking, that gosh, I'm whatever age I was, late 20s or right at 30, thinking I'm the youngest guy out here, and it's this and it's that, and I went from like being the youngest guy to being the veteran, and I couldn't even tell you when it happened. Yeah. It was like, it was overnight. Well, wait, are you sure? Wait, I'm the veteran? Damn. Okay. All right. Well,
it's crazy.
I guess that means I'm still working, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
Beats dying.
It sure does. It sure does. Yeah. No, it's
so
wild.
far.
It's wild. The passage of time is cruel and fascinating, and it's wild. Yeah. It goes faster the older you get.
I think fascinating is the perfect word for it.
Yeah.
Because especially like hearing like young kids talk shit on like a video game or something, it's like, you're going to be old one day too,
you will.
dude. Like,
you will.
You better hope you're going to be old,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I promise you will.
I was one of those young shit talkers too, man. Like, I'd be on the video games. You're old,
I was a kid like you once.
Playing sports, and you make fun of somebody for being like 23. It's like, you're old. Get out of here, 23. Yeah. It's like, all right.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, there was the Who, the Beatles, the Stones.
Yeah.
The Who had a song called My Generation. People try to put us down. And one of the lines was, hope I die before I get old, talking about my generation. And I was thinking, I don't know about that part about dying. But yeah, I'm 30. Think I'll kill myself. No. No. I'll wait for 31.
Yeah.
And now it's like, let me know when you run into who wants to be 100? A guy who's 99. That's who wants to be live to be 100.
Absolutely.
How about that?
I want to say my kids keep me young because like they're constantly reintroducing me to everything that is like current and fresh, and and I get to see what kids are like these days. But then right when I start to get a little bit more confident, I was just kind of like, my son was sitting on the couch playing video games, and I just come up and I just start like mugging in his face, and I was like, yo, check this out. And I just started doing this stupid dance. Some stupid dance. And I literally threw my back out.
Oh, Jesus.
I threw my back out. And it wasn't even anything that was crazy acrobatic or anything like that. It was stupid. It was just like,
you weren't breakdancing or anything.
No. I was literally just like doing this with like a weird look on my face.
Ooh.
And all of a sudden I was like,
and the weird look went to pain.
I can't move. And it was bad for like 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
I almost went to the doctor because I was like, did I really do something bad? Because should this be hurting after all this time? That's the
Sounds
limit,
like something
I guess.
that would happen to me.
Like, what is that? What is that?
Yeah.
Getting old.
40s have sucked, man.
Well,
really sucked.
I'd rather have a shit ton of birthdays than one funeral.
That's true.
Because you only get one of those.
Yeah.
So I'll put that one off as that party.
If I'm only getting one, they better make it good.
Yeah, make it a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Bands.
Yeah.
Just taxidermy me up in the front, and I'll just be like,
Taxidermy.
And one of my old goals was because every now and then, one of our legends dies, and of course Mel Blanc or Paul Frees or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's a rush to replace these characters. And one of my goals I can remember from day one was, okay, when I eventually die, like when I'm 100, I want 18 people to get a gig because they all can go out and fill one of my roles.
Yeah.
All the guys who came in second, now you're number one, assuming you weren't older and are already dead. So that's my goal. That's what I'm hoping for. Maybe
it's a very
someday,
benevolent goal.
Maybe someday you'll be Winnie the Pooh.
I would love that. I'll have to learn your secrets.
I bequeath it unto you.
I grew up listening to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was a big Winnie the Pooh fan.
Yeah.
I had the read-along books, the ones that came with the cassette.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you bought tons of them.
I did.
I Probably made.
I still listen to those even like, I mean, honestly, that's probably one of the reasons I got into voiceover was just like listening to so many of those. And they were just a comfort to me. Like I listened to those even when I was like a teenager. Like sometimes if I couldn't get to bed, I'd throw on like a Winnie the Pooh and just
bore you to sleep. Yeah.
It's just comforting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Do you share that with your kids as well? Like, is this something that you've passed on?
Yeah, I mean, well, they listen. They love to listen to stuff. My son especially, and I mean, I would read to them a lot when they were, and they're both very avid readers. I mean, my daughter reads at like a 12th grade level. She's in 5th grade. She reads at 12th grade. My son reads, I think, at like 10th, and he's in 3rd.
Wow.
But again, like I started them really, really early. So from the time they were cognizant, I was reading to them. And I would read to them.
My mom gave me, that's a gift. My mom did that for me. I could read at 5. I showed up in 1st grade and the nuns liked me temporarily. A couple years later, not so much. But right then there, he can read. Oh my gosh. And then of course, they had all taught my mom, St. Sally. You may have heard of her, God rest her soul. And they expected me to be a good kid because she was. And that part didn't work out so well. But the reading, I was fine.
You were good. You were good. Yeah, no, I mean, I started reading them Dr. Seuss.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
And they would, those are great for teaching kids to read because just the meter and the rhyme and all that and the absolute silliness of what they're talking about makes it very memorable. So like they would memorize the story that was being read. And I would notice my son, he would go back and he would start looking over the book, having now memorized it because I had read to him so often that now he'd be kind of going through and reciting the appropriate words for the appropriate page. And then that just makes the connection. These are the words that I'm reading. So he pretty much through that figured out how to read. And once I could see that they could read and sound stuff out, I'm like, well, why stick with this? Why not read some more advanced stuff? So I always loved Roald Dahl. So I was like, let's read the BFG. And not even thinking about the fact, hey, this is a book about the giants that eat children and crunch on their bones and all that.
That's true.
And they're like 5. But yeah, I started having my daughter read this stuff. And
that's tasty kid.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. So then they ended up, and I would read it to them with the voices and all that, and then I would start having them read it back to me.
Traumatizing them one book at a time.
One book at a time. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Very good kids, though. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they showing any inkling of following in Dad's footsteps?
They've done some of it. Basically, like I don't ever want to push it on them because I feel like when I was growing up, it was pushed on me. Oh yeah. And so I've told them like, if this isn't something you want to do, you don't have to do it. Oh wow. But I'm like, there's a lot less competition right now. You have somebody who can help you. You are already repped by one of the best agents in the business. So I'm like, it'll make your life easier if you have savings from the time you're a kid. They're both union members because they've both worked enough to be part of the union.
Oh, that's great.
So I mean, my daughter during COVID, my daughter actually worked quite a bit because at that time, like I already had a studio. I'd had one for 10 years already. And this was when people were rushing to do home studios because that's the only way that they could work. Yeah. So she actually did a couple episodes of Spidey and His Amazing Friends. Oh, wow. And it was cute because she sounds totally different now. Now she can pronounce her R's no problem. But back then she couldn't pronounce her R's. And I said, don't worry about it because, this takes place in New York and you're a little New Yorker. So when she's saying, it's Spidey's web shooter, you sound like you're from the city.
That's great.
It's great. Yeah. So, but yeah, just going back and listening to that.
That's cute.
And I'm very open and honest with them about, what the money that they'll make on all that. I'm like, this is what a residual is. I'm like, you're getting this. And this is something you did like 3 years ago and you're getting a little bit of money from that. And the more of this you can do, the more of this adds up. And
That's cool.
Yeah. I always want to, it was weird. Like my parents did all of that. So I kind of went into adult life with like a kid's set of social and financial skills. And had to learn a lot very quickly. And I don't ever want them to be like that. Like I'm very open with them about this is what you make. This is what the structure is. This is how much you pay your agent. This is how all that works. When taxes come around, I'm very, very open with them about, okay, now this is what you have to do. This is how much you have to pay. This is what it's calculated on, all that. And so I mean, their eyes kind of glaze over. They don't really care. But some of it's going to stick.
Yeah.
And the more I talk to them about it, the more of a mind they're going to have for the fact that this is still show business.
Yeah.
You know, and that there's a business to everything. And the more versed you are on this side of it, the easier your life is going to be.
Heck yeah. Very true.
Because they don't have classes in school that teach you that kind of stuff, like just life skills.
Yeah.
About, you know, show my age here, but balancing a checkbook, but balancing a bank account or you know, filing your taxes or knowing how to do
hopefully
any of
that's
that
a big problem for you. That you have so much money, you have to hire an accountant. There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Yeah, that's the goal.
That is the goal.
Oh, man, oh, man.
All right. Well, I think it's time for a voice swap. What do you think?
Oh, no.
Oh, this is true.
What are we doing?
It's so true.
This is a little game we play. It's pretty straightforward, but somehow I always manage to screw it up.
Okay.
So Jim will do a voice of one of his characters.
Okay.
And then you will do that same line, but in a voice of one of your characters.
Okay.
And then we'll swap vice versa.
Okay.
How's that sound?
There we
right,
go.
yeah.
That sounds good.
Sounds good.
So,
Let's see. So,
wait, what if we do two characters from in the same show?
oh,
Do you still remember the voice of Skrull?
I think sort of. Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Or Thanos? I know you remember Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos I do.
Want to do Thanos and Spider-Man?
Yeah, let's do Thanos.
Okay.
Now I got to think of a likely line. For
Well, you do a
Thanos.
Spider-Man line, and then we'll just do it backwards.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Say my name and I magically appear.
Say my name, and I magically appear.
I don't have that kind of depth, but I'll try.
Okay. Yeah, I was Triton in the last two movies. So let's see. Sebastian, they have not one brain among them.
And I do the same one.
From one of your one of your guys.
Pick
Oh,
whoever you
one of
like.
mine.
Whoever
Okay,
you
wait,
like.
Sebastian what?
They have not one brain among them.
Okay.
I'm paraphrasing.
I'll do it as Iron Man.
There you go.
Sebastian, they have not one brain among them.
Well, Tony Stark has a lot of brains.
He does.
He's got enough brains
does.
for everybody.
He does.
That is so freaking awesome.
Wait, can you do one as Iron Man for me? Just a little personal request.
Yeah, sure.
Can you say Jarvis, maximum pulse that family of 4?
Jarvis, maximum pulse that family of 4. Yeah, that one right there. And clip that.
Swing, swing, swing. It all starts.
I want to see it later when I'm having shawarma.
That's right.
When you do that voice, do you put some of Robert Downey Jr. in it?
You kind of have to.
I
Like,
feel
I'm
like-
not trying to voice match him
Yeah.
because, like, when I first got hired for that, it's funny, like, they didn't necessarily want a Robert Downey Jr. voice match because there's somebody that does it way better than I do. My friend Mick Winger is like the official Robert Downey Jr. voice match, and he can sound literally just like him. You close your eyes, you wouldn't know it's not RDJ in front of you.
Yeah.
But even though I'm not necessarily trying to be him, it's he's defined that character
Exactly.
for over a decade.
Exactly.
now.
Yeah.
So it would
Easily.
be kind of disingenuous to not really have. I mean, there's a lot of just his dismissiveness and the fact that he could just go and be talking and then just immediately switch to something else. And it's more just in certain mannerisms and,
Yeah,
and
the
certain
mannerisms.
attitude that he carries that I've now kind of associated with that character.
Yeah.
And so I mean, just popping some of that stuff in there helps it still identify to people who are very familiar with that Iron Man and just put it in that
Yeah.
space.
I mean, I personally think it's one of the best performances in the game. I think
thank you.
I think James Arnold Taylor as Magneto, he does a great job. And I forget his name, but he plays Namor. Oh
my God, I can't. I just saw him.
He does a great job.
We did like a Marvel Rivals signing over at one
that's
of my
fun.
convention agents, and he was there, and I just met
nice.
him. And what is his name?
Oh, God.
Hold on, I'm
It's
gonna
gonna
look it
bother
up because it's gonna bother me. And he was so sweet. He was so nice, and I'm horrible with names. It's like a weakness.
I'm
of
usually
mine.
not.
Let me see. I'll look him up right now. We'll give him a shout out.
Talk amongst yourselves out there, folks. We're doing research. This is top-notch, highly professional research here.
It is. Where's his name?
And he's a younger guy. He's a younger guy, if I'm not mistaken. My sweet Susan.
Daniel Marin.
Yes.
Namor.
Yes. Man, that game's a blast. You should stream that game.
I do want to play it.
You have one viewer. I'll watch.
Yeah, oh, sweet. Because right now I've mainly been streaming World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah,
which is another thing. I mean, I played that thing.
You've been playing that for a while, right?
20 years.
Yeah.
That's an old game, and it's still awesome.
Yeah,
and I'm like Warcraft. The king of the alliance in that. And I had already been playing for like 8 years before I even auditioned to be in the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You believe in the law of attraction?
I do.
Yeah. Seems like you've manifested a lot of things.
Oh, absolutely. With that one, like when I got the audition for that, I was cocky as hell because I was like, I don't care who they get to audition for this. There's nobody in this town who has played this game more than I have.
Yeah.
Because I'd literally played the character that I had been playing at the time. I had maybe 4 months of in-game time, like months.
Whoa.
24-hour. Like if you were to take all my in-game time and put it all together,
really,
4 months of my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are you hip to Lore Walker Cho in that game?
Oh yeah. Did you voice Lore Walker Cho?
Yeah, I'm Lore Walker Cho.
That's amazing. And they're bringing, because what they do, they have Retail WoW, which is like the most current expansion, but then they've been also doing WoW Classic, which is older expansions that you play as they were, and Pandaria is the next one that they're doing Classic. And that actually was the first expansion that I was in. That's where I started as Anduin.
The Mists of Pandaria. Yeah. Have you ever been down there?
To Blizzard?
Blizzard?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, is that place insane?
It's super cool.
Unbelievable. If you guys ever get a chance.
With the big statue.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That's crazy. Apparently, it's kind of profitable to be in that business.
Oh, only slightly, yes.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Very small independent game company.
Like 10 times more than major motion pictures?
The last I saw it was up to like 4.5.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
4.5 times.
And they're not even at their like peak right now.
Yeah, no, not
like their
even.
peak was right before Minecraft came out.
Yeah.
Like at that point,
I think
it was crazy.
For me personally, Fortnite was just insane. The amount of money that game was generated.
Yeah.
It was like 2018. I think they made like almost $3 billion in 1 year.
It's crazy.
Like,
it's crazy.
For a free-to-play game, it just like blew my mind. I was like, what? Like, they're having live concerts and stuff in this game. Like, what is going on here? What kind of game is this?
It's wild.
You know, I got to get this off my chest. 20-something years ago, when video games were first starting to weasel their way in, there was something Gabriel Knight, Tim Curry was in, and this and that. And I remember going to 2 SAG-AFTRA meetings, and we had just first they were, if you can actually believe this out there. They were going, oh, well, we're not going to worry about cable TV. Listen, we got NBC, we got ABC, we got CBS. And then there's PBS. We get a few nickels there. And so whatever, cable, schmable. Okay, I was the only one to go. I go, if we don't, nothing comes out and then fails. Remember the horseless carriages?
Yeah.
I don't either. But apparently cars are doing okay.
Yeah.
They seem to be sticking around. And they didn't. Nobody listened.
I feel like the union has been so behind on every single new technology as it comes out.
Yeah.
Like with new media.
Yeah.
They still call new media, and it's like it's not new anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, with that, it sucks. It's like I look at so many of the technological advances and so many of the business changes that have happened, like when they switched from like taxis to Uber, and where they go and just say, well, this is a new thing, so these contracts don't apply.
Right.
And it's just basically a way of getting out of like all of their old stuff. Yeah. Because if you look at the way that new media is released now, it's released like week by week, just like broadcast used to be. And now they have ads on it, just like they had with broadcast. And they can track the audience more than they can with broadcast. But now we don't get the same kind of residuals that we did with broadcast TV, even though like you literally have to pay for that service. It's not even like a free to broadcast thing.
That's right.
It's just crazy. Like none of it's caught up. And then the fight that we're going through with AI and all of that in video games, where we're on strike still because, I mean, I've had to walk away from, there was a AAA game, I obviously can't say what it was, but there was a AAA game that I was one of the leads in. And it was one of these ones that was kind of like on the fence, where it was, because for those that don't know, there's red tag games, which are like games that you cannot touch because they were striking against those companies. They haven't even started production. They're completely struck. There's the green tagged ones. The green tagged ones are ones where they've actually signed an interim agreement. So even though we're on strike, these particular games have agreed to our terms.
To come to come to the table.
Yeah, to come to the table and agree by these rules and these protections. So we're like, okay, we'll work on those during the strike. Right. And then there are the yellow tag games. The yellow tag games are ones that were started before the strike. So they were technically started under the old contract. And you can technically work on them. You're not going to get in trouble with the union by working on them. However, it does kind of undermine the strike because you're giving the video game companies material to release to weather out the strike. And so you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot.
Kind of, yeah.
And there are still some actors, like big actors, who are working these games, and it's really not productive for anybody but themselves.
But they're not really considered a scab, are they?
You're not considered a scab, but
it's a weird gray area.
It's a
but
weird
they're not entirely on board.
But you're not helping. You're actively harming.
Yeah.
But you're taking home a paycheck, which I guess is their main concern. I walked away from this game where it was like a team of people, and I was one of the four, and I don't know who the fourth one was, but I remember a couple friends of mine. Again, I'm not going to say their names, mainly because NDAs and all that. But a couple of friends of mine were the other two of the others in the squad, and they just kind of contacted me and said, "Are you going to do this game? Because it's we're thinking of withholding work on it." And when they said that, I was like, "Well, I'm not going to be the one that
you're not going to be the one
screws them over." So I'm like, these are my buddies. So the three of us withheld work. I'm sure they probably still went through with production on that game. But and that was a mocap game. Many sessions. I was making well over scale for that. So all that money gone. But I mean, if we have to fight this fight now, because if we don't, there's no business. Like their stated goal, their stated want is to be able to basically use anything that we've ever done, feed it into a machine, and never pay us.
That's right.
Not pay us for anything.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Oof. It's all built on theft.
Yeah.
So
and I always say, here, take this with you. There you go. Thank you.
If somebody did the calculation, and if you were to actually work into the cost of AI, because they say, oh, it's cost savings and all that. If you were to work into the cost of AI, the cost of actually tracking everything that goes in to train the AI, and the cost of fairly compensating everybody whose stuff trained the AI, there's no cost savings. It's actually more expensive than to just hire the actual person.
Wouldn't have seen that one coming.
I've heard people feed my voice into AI. There have been like mods that they've done where they put like my Spider-Man voice into the Spider-Man game. And the thing is like the AI can match my voice print. It can do that. But it doesn't match what I do.
No.
It doesn't match my acting, my choices, all that. Like when I listen to it, I heard it, and they're modding the Spider-Man game that Yuri is Spider-Man in. So I listen to it, and it's my voice print, but it's still Yuri's acting. It's still the way that he acts.
That's weird.
There's nothing wrong with the way he acts, but it's not what I would have done.
It's peculiar to him.
So it's not really me. It's just it's like a weird thing.
Yeah, it's
like,
really
it's not the choices that I would have made. Like I said, nothing against Yuri. It's just, but what this is just my voice print over that. But that kind of further cements the fact that on its own, AI really has to have an actor underneath it to drive the voice print, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah. The same way that like mocap, if I'm playing like a creature that it looks nothing like me, it still has to have an actor underneath it, moving it and puppeting it and doing all of that for it to be real and for it to feel like for you to actually be able to relate to this
feel
thing.
real. Yeah.
It still needs somebody to drive it. So at that point, like you're going to have to still hire an actor to like drive the voice. So why not just cut out? It just seems like acting with extra steps. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy.
Unnecessarily.
Yeah. My main concern is not what AI is capable of. It's what people are being trained to accept. Because when you go on TikTok, like the majority of this stuff on there is narrated by the same crappy AI voices. You know, you see so much of that kind of stuff, a lot of AI art. So it's like people have already had this stuff seeded into their mind for so long. My concern is like, they're just going to think it's good enough.
I was going to
They're going to think that the crap that AI can turn out on its own.
It's going to be the great settling.
It's going to be good enough.
We're settling for it.
Yeah, like it's good enough because that's what they've been trained to accept.
Yeah. I can see
that's my concern.
I can see that.
That's legit. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Oof, the dumbing down.
But I still feel like there's still going to be a market for like, you know, actual creativity, actual acting.
There always has to be a market for excellence.
Yeah.
there's always room for better, right?
Absolutely.
That's got to be, knock on wood and all that. Oof, yeah.
And if not, I like doing stuff around the house, and I like doing electrical work. Maybe I'll get my electrician's license and go do that. We'll see. Man. We'll see what happens.
So listen, do you have anything you'd like to announce, like an upcoming convention?
I'm doing a ton of conventions this year. When is this going to air?
About 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Okay, so I will have already been at Four State Comic Con in Hagerstown, Maryland, which I'm doing this weekend, but that's going to be after this. I will be at
GalaxyCon, Oklahoma City.
I will also be.
How about New Orleans?
I will be at the New Orleans one.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be at that one as well.
My second hometown.
Are you going to be at that one?
I don't know, but
I hope you're there. You can show me around.
I am too. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I'll take you to the Palace.
I would love that.
Palace Grill.
I'm going to be doing a bunch of them. I'm going to actually put together a list of the ones that they've cleared me to announce on my socials. So my socials will be on Twitter. I'll always call it Twitter, Josh Keaton, just Josh Keaton. On Twitch, it's Space Padre. On Instagram, it's Space Padre. On Facebook, it's Josh Keaton's page. And TikTok, it's the Josh Keaton, because somebody already had Josh Keaton. I mean, I guess it's fair.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not the only one. So,
there's somebody
I can't be too mad at other Josh Keaton.
Yeah,
it's cool.
There was a guy out there named Jim Cummings, and he was, and he had a band, the Jim Cummings Band. And that was really pissed me off a little. So wait a minute, I'm not in that band. Damn it!
Yeah, you should. You should
damn it! What the hell? Anyway, but he played bass. Anybody can play bass. But you're also going to be at Chattanooga Comic Con.
Yes. Okay, so you have a. So I've
done some homework here. Look at that. Yeah. And we've got your social media. Well, I think we mentioned that Josh Keaton or Space Padre.
Yes.
That was an interesting one.
That one came from Voltron because I got nicknamed Space Dad from that because he was kind of like the leader of the team. He kind of was like the oldest one of the group, and so they kind of called him Space Dad. They actually called Hal Jordan in Green Lantern Space Dad as well because he kind of had this this daddish vibe towards his AI Aya, who ended up taking on a humanoid form and was very protective of her. And so that's where I first got called Space Dad, but it really got popularized with Voltron. And Space Dad was already taken. So I'm Latino, so I was like, well, let's do Padre. So
that's
Padre.
great.
Because I didn't want to do Papa because then it would just look like Space Papa, which could also be like Space Potato, which is actually kind of funny, and maybe I should have stuck with Space Potato. But I was like, Padre.
Well, Space Jam was taken.
Space Jam was definitely taken. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, thanks for being here, brother.
Dude, thank you for having me, man. It's always good to see you.
So much.
Always good to see you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure talking.
Pleasure to
nice
talk
meeting
with you, too. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Great to see all of you.
And we have to get a picture before we go.
Absolutely.
We have to get a picture.
Absolutely.
But before that, I'll wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for watching another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings, joined, as always, by Josh Keaton.
Woo!
Not as always, but this time.
Yeah, this time.
Yeah, that's right.
Hopefully I'll
as
be
always,
back.
by an amazing guest. This time it was Josh Keaton.
Hey!
That's right. If you like this content, please be sure to like and subscribe. It tells the YouTube algorithm to recommend more stuff like this to you. And if you really like this content, there's bonus on Patreon. That's right. You can see these episodes a week early, and there's additional content that we release only on Patreon. There's merchandise giveaways. There's signing giveaways. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Go check us out over there. If you want to buy some merchandise, you can go on Shopify to Jim Cummings Closet, and you can get some Winnie the Pooh shirts, Darkwing Duck, a whole bunch of cool stuff there. Nice. Am I leaving anything out? I don't think I am.
I don't think so. All the venues, YouTube, Spotify, Hum-a-da-hing. Yeah.
I'm going to have to get myself a Winnie the Pooh shirt.
We're big on Etch-a-Sketch.
But yeah, other than that, thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.
See ya. Hey, that was fun.
Thank you.
That was
super fun.
Thank you, brother.